We are live. Good morning, everyone. This is Katie with NLFX Professional. I am here with Staci, the track star, and I apologize. I haven't had a webcast in over a week. So, Staci, I'm excited to get back in it with you. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? First of all, how did you get your DJ name, the track star?
So I started running track when I was 6 years old, and I ran all the way up through college. I was a two-time NCAA All-American, and just really liked the play on words of like a song track, like a music track with, the running track. So yeah, that's the story.
Very cool. So, Staci, those people who don't know who you are, why don't you give us a little background about who you are? What do you do? How did you make a name for yourself in the industry?
Yeah, okay. So I've been DJing for 12 years, and I've been full-time the last almost 7 years now. And primarily doing mobile gigs, predominantly weddings. I have definitely DJed at nightclubs and had some residencies in the last few years as well. But I think most people probably know me for writing for Mobile Beat and digital DJ tips and speaking at Mobile Beat, DJ Expo, Wedding MBA, Midwest DJs Live.
Yes. So what are some of the topics that you cover at those seminars?
I primarily talk about social media marketing. So a lot of Pinterest and blogging and Instagram. I spoke at DJ Expo last year about just actually writing your copy, which was pretty cool. Before I did, full-time DJing, when I was first starting and I was like part-time DJing, I was also working as a freelance writer. And that was the main source of my income for like 8 years. So, I have good background in writing. So I was trying to, share some of my writing knowledge with the DJ community.
I know a couple years ago at Mobile Beat, I actually watched one of your seminars, and it was on Pinterest. And I loved it because I've watched seminars about Facebook and Instagram, but I've never really seen anything with Pinterest. So do you want to go into that maybe just a little bit to touch on how one can use Pinterest to market their DJ business?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a really misunderstood topic. And I think because so many DJs are men, it makes it even like more foreign territory, like they're walking into a Victoria's Secret or something. And that's so not the case at all. Pinterest is simply a search engine for pictures. So, if you understand the value of content marketing in any way, it's really just another platform to promote your content. And I think, in this industry, people understand that brides are on Pinterest. So it's even really for us, like better than promoting your playlists or your blog posts or whatever on Google, So, in a nutshell, Pinterest is just like a Google for images. And in addition to, the search part of that, Pinterest actually sends out like free email blasts to people, which like if Google did that would be insane. So like let's say I'm searching, for San Diego wedding venues. It would be like as if Google the next day sent me an email like, here are 10 San Diego wedding venues that you might like. Well, Pinterest does that. They literally send these free email blasts to your target market like right when they're searching for you. So yeah, it's a really amazing tool and has just completely ballooned my traffic to my website, and I get tons of leads from Pinterest. So yeah, it's a very overlooked tool.
Do they contact you via Pinterest, or do you link it back to your website and your blogs, and then they contact you that way?
Yeah, absolutely. So the pins are really just like a doorway to get back to your blog. So, I always teach people that if you're, going to start, really trying to work this type of marketing, it's really important that you build like a sales funnel on your blog so that people aren't just bouncing back to Pinterest, which is very easy for them to do. Because when we go down like a Pinterest rabbit hole, we'll be on Pinterest for 45 minutes looking up something, and we're not as likely to engage with any particular, image or blog post that we might encounter. So it's really important, to have something to let them know, like, hey, pin me for later, or what, here's a quick email capture, and then you can jump back to Pinterest. That's really important to kind of put yourself in a different mentality as far as how to grab those leads.
That's awesome. So Staci, have you been into the TikTok wormhole that I've been hearing so much about? I do not use TikTok. I understand how it works, but I personally don't use it. So have you dabbled in that?
Well, I do have a TikTok account, and like I did a digital festival, a couple of months ago, where we did have a flyer that we promoted and I reposted on TikTok. But the main purpose of my TikTok account is because I have a 7-year-old daughter, and she enjoys spending hours on TikTok and making silly dance videos and stuff. So I'm not really into like doing silly dance videos for myself. But I think the potential of the platform is definitely something that we should be keeping our ears on, because I do think it's gonna probably turn into more than just that. I think, like when Instagram just started, it was like, okay, this is for photographers, this is for, photo junkies or whatever. And now everybody's on it. And I think, in time, TikTok could turn into that, because it's really just the story platform, these short form videos and everything, which has obviously been very successful on Instagram and Facebook. So
that's awesome. I love talking these little tips with you because, I think it's good. There's a lot of downtime right now. So if there's maybe 3 things that people can do currently to improve their marketing, Pinterest, Instagram, anything, what would you recommend that they do?
Well, I think now is a great time to plan ahead for your social strategy for like 2021. You could start now and go through next July or whatever, but I think you could be using this downtime to plan like Music Mondays for the next 50 weeks or whatever, or to plan Wedding Wednesdays or throwback pictures or whatever. You could be using this time to like schedule those posts with a post scheduler. I feel like a lot of DJs, haven't started a blog, and if they have one, they're not really posting regularly, or they don't really understand how to use it as a marketing tool. So I think starting a blog and then building up some content, it would be like a huge way to get ahead right now for sure. Third tip. Honestly, like I'm all about the skills too. I know I don't, like when I speak at conferences, I don't talk about scratching or whatever, but yeah, if you're not learning a new skill right now, really, it's the time to, like, I just finished participating in this thing called 100 Days of Scratching. And that is a great project. Like literally, I never used my crossfader or anything before I started doing this project. And now I know several scratches with pretty decent proficiency. I have a long way to go, but a project like that is really perfect for quarantine. So something like that.
I love that. So if someone wanted to join the 100 Days of Scratching, where would they find that information?
Yeah, it's free, but it was created by and is sort of promoted by School of Scratch. So you don't need to belong to School of Scratch to participate in it in any way. It's open to everybody. They usually start quarterly, but you can jump in anytime. And I was really lucky. I had 2 other female DJ friends here in San Diego that were also interested in learning to scratch. And the 3 of us started together on January 1st, kind of as a New Year's thing. And we just had our celebration dinner that all 3 of us had completed the 100 days, which was really cool. So, get together some buddies, because the kind of support of having a group, like you won't let yourself slide. You know what I mean? Like you will get it done because you have like accountability buddies. So
what's one of, like, you just did this 100 Days of Scratch. So What was like one takeaway that you'll just always remember from it?
Man, so many. I think the first thing is just really the importance of practicing on a regular basis. And, as a mobile DJ, it's difficult because, and up until I participated in this project, your gear is just always sort of like in storage, kind of ready to be taken out to the next thing. You don't want to set it up at a gig, tear it down, bring it home, and set it up again so that you can tear it down again on Friday and take it out again. You know what I mean? That's a really tedious process. And that prevented me from practicing for a really long time until I bought turntables. And I started learning how to use the turntables. And then I was like, okay, my controller goes out on the weekend, but the turntables are always here, always ready to use and ready to go. And, so just thinking along those terms helps a lot. But yeah, I mean, just the little things that have improved because I've been willing to practice has been huge. And then also, like, I've posted videos of, here's me doing some really crappy, learning to how to do like a crab scratch or whatever. And it's terrible, but I feel like so many people have told me they've been inspired by the videos that I posted of me just like, I don't know what I'm doing, but this is how you start learning. And like literally just this morning, the first female DJ to perform live on the radio in San Diego tagged me and one of my scratch partners saying that she was inspired by us and she was going to start doing 100 days of scratching. So, I mean, I've been blown away by how many people have told me that they were motivated by watching that. So I was just very transparent. I put the whole process out there and yeah, some ripples. So
I love it. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
So Staci, what would you say, how would you define success in the DJ industry? How would you know that you've made it and you're successful?
Wow, that's a great question. I'm a big believer in actually like making solid goals, like writing down your goals. And I think everybody's going to have kind of something different that sets them apart. I think for a lot of people, it's the ability to quit, a Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 day job and be DJing full time. That's a huge thing. For other people, it might be like a certain income goal or a certain number of, events per year. For me in the last few years, it's really, my focus has really been more on my skills and trying to get nightclub experience, getting, some new residencies. I was actually going to be starting a residency at the House of Blues in San Diego in March. And it was like the week after major lockdown started here. And I just been like extremely sad about that. But those are the kind of benchmarks that I was really, working towards, was more skill based, but it's all legit. However people are doing it, just, keep moving it forward. So.
And you said you primarily do weddings, correct?
Yeah, I have probably DJed like 500 weddings since I started DJing. So
what is one thing you should never do at a wedding?
Oof, man, it's honestly, weddings are just all about being prepared. And I think if you, like the saying is, like, if you fail to prepare, like, you're gonna definitely experience a very high degree of stress at that event. I don't think any of us ever wants to deal with making a couple stressed on their wedding day, or, in any way inconveniencing them, or having to break bad news. Like, I don't have the right version of that song, or I don't have the song at all. Like, oh my God, that's the kind of stress that I hear people saying, like, I can never DJ a wedding again, So I just feel like you're never too prepared for a wedding. Like, oh my gosh, when you like see the equipment of someone who has DJed a ton of weddings, like, I mean, never fails to amaze me. Like, wow, I thought I was the craziest, most prepared, but like, this guy has every size of battery in his like extra battery case or whatever, and I only have double A's, you know, like things like that. You're like, well, I don't have like a full Radio Shack on me at every wedding, but you know, or whatever. But
Yeah.
I mean, just I have like adapters for like male and female things. I know I'm like, I don't know how I would ever need that, but I have it in case lightning strikes and we need to connect you know, a whatever to a whatever, have just like an insane amount of random adapters and stuff like that.
So that's perfect. Just be prepared. 100% be prepared for anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Things that you think could never possibly happen. Because I know there's been like one of the things I think is the most popular in my emergency kit is probably 3x5 note cards of people that are giving toasts, and they're like, yeah, I didn't really write anything. Do you have some paper? And I'm like, yes, I do. You know, so not only like ugly paper, but this will look decent in the photos. So
Right. I love it. So Staci, who's been kind of a mentor in your life to get you to where you are now? Who have you looked up to? Who do you turn to for advice?
Wow, so many people. Well, definitely I feel like really blessed to be, you know, a part of the San Diego DJ community, because the DJs around here have just been like a true family. And I feel like everybody, you know, like we have a very active DJ group in San Diego, a Facebook group, and people are always jumping in like, hey, I need this piece of equipment, or I need somebody to cover for me for that. And I really feel like there's not a competitive vibe here at all. It's very community, and I've always thought that's been really great. But the female DJ community here is even stronger, and we don't stay segregated like nightclub DJs over here, mobile DJs over there. Like everybody is just like team female DJ, you know, and so that's been really amazing. I think, you know, probably like Jason Janai's company, just in general, their philosophy I find very inspiring. Nick Spinelli, definitely for his scratching, because he is one of the few DJs that does scratch at weddings, which I really admire. Man, just so many people. Definitely like Joe Bunn and Mike Walter for sure. I think also like DJ Rachel and Michelle Rundat are, you know, coming up and having more of a voice in the community, which I just think is amazing. And I feel like, you know, as women, it makes me just very happy to see more people are getting involved in conferences and everything. So that's awesome. Yeah, DJ Dana, DJ Jess, so many people.
So I know when I had Rachel on my show, we actually touched a little bit on female DJs and how there might have been some differences, that, you know, some struggles being a female in the industry. Have you felt any of that throughout your career?
Well, I feel like on the mobile DJ side of things that everybody has been extremely welcoming, and, you know, like the doors are wide open, the arms are wide open to embrace us, and, you know, really have been very welcoming with other DJs. Where I tend to feel like frustration is, for example, when I'm on the expo floor at one of the conferences and I walk by myself into a booth, and I'll get the "you guys. Is there an invisible husband like next to me? Like, I'm not a wife. I'm here as a DJ, like a full-time DJ, and just the assumption that, you know, there's obviously a man around the corner, or, you know, like, why are you calling me "you guys"? I'm one person. Mm-hmm. That kind of stuff. So I don't really feel that way at all from other DJs, but from some kind of the like fringy people around that like we might run into on the side. Like, for example, there's definitely been times when I've been setting up at an event, and I know this has happened to every female DJ more than once, but you're setting up at a gig and you clearly have DJ equipment, you have speakers, you have a controller, you have a microphone, and you are actively like plugging cables into that equipment, and they're like, "Are you the DJ?"
I knew you were going to say that before you even said it.
Yeah, I knew for sure that you would know, but so no, I don't feel like, male DJs in any way have been anything but supportive and welcoming, but yeah, just some of the outside things that we have to deal with for sure.
Perfect, guys. I do want to say if you have questions, write them in the comments. We do have a few minutes left here. So Staci, do you have any final thoughts or recommendations, comments, anything before we wrap it up?
Well, I'm sure, people, I don't know, everybody on the West Coast as much, but definitely East Coast people probably realize that the DJ Expo has been pushed back to November. I will be speaking there, so hopefully if you're on the East Coast, you can come out and be a part of that. And then also the Wedding MBA, which is in Vegas, is literally like overlapping the same days as DJ Expo, but I'll be speaking at both. So West Coasters, come out to the Wedding MBA. I'll be doing 2 seminars there. So yeah, hopefully I can catch up with people at some upcoming conferences as we all sort of come out of hibernation a little bit.
Perfect. I can't wait to see you. We go to Wedding MBA every year, so I try to sit in on as many seminars as I can while I'm there.
For sure. Yeah, yes. It's a great show.
I love it. And then that's it for today. I normally have a question that my son, who's 10, asks, and I did not get it from him this morning. I totally spaced it. It's a Monday, so you don't get the final question this week. Ah.
Oh, that's awesome, though. But yeah, rest assured, I have a 7-year-old with me, 24/7, asking me all kinds of fun quarantine questions. So.
Yeah, I had a list that we actually put together a couple of weeks ago, and we went through every question on the list. So I guess I could pick one. Let me see if my go-to is, who would win a fight, a dinosaur or a robot?
Ooh, God, my daughter would be all over that question. She's so into both. Man. I think I'm going to say the dinosaur, just because of their sheer size. I've yet to see a robot that's anywhere near as big as a T-Rex. So I think ultimately, yeah, I'm going to vote with the dinos.
Perfect. I love it. Thank you for joining me today. I do appreciate it. And make sure you guys come back tomorrow for another KatieCast at 11 a.m. Central.
Thank you, Katie.
You're welcome.